Ex-wife left me for her lover. Now she's begging to move back in, claiming she'll live like a nun. I told her to go to HL. Need advice on a different kind of problem. Names changed and story generated and modified a bit so that we are not easily recognized, but all based on real event. 2 years ago, my high school sweetheart and wife of 15 years left me for another woman. The divorce that followed was a difficult and emotional process. We had to navigate the complexities of custody, child support, and property division. In the end, I gained custody of the kids and bought X out of her share of our home, which has been a stabilizing force for the kids. Despite the challenges of our divorce, my ex-wife and I have managed to maintain an amicable relationship for the sake of our children. We communicate regularly, but it is all about the kids and their activities. After the divorce, my parents, who live nearby, have been a huge help. They pitch in with childcare, homework, and even cooking dinner sometimes. I don't know what I'd do without them. Despite my best efforts, the kids struggle to accept their mother's new relationship. Emily, who's 13, refuses to speak to her mother, while 10-year-old Jack barely acknowledges her. I encourage them to maintain a relationship with their mother, but they're still hurting from her departure. As a result, my ex-wife, who's 37, has broken off her relationship with her partner. She apparently blamed her partner for breaking up her family, or at least her kids. I feel a tiny pang of regret. Should I have tried more? Should I be more supportive? But this is not my current problem or my cross to bear. I'm faced with a new and unexpected challenge. My ex-wife is calling me non-stop, begging to move back in with us. She claims she wants to rebuild her relationship with the kids and maintain a platonic relationship with me. This is not forever, but she is looking for a year or two or till her relationship improves. While we've remained amicable, I've moved on and I'm not interested in any close relationship with her, platonic or otherwise. I've even started dating occasionally, though nothing serious has come of it yet. And the kids? Will they even want their mother living with us again? I try to convey my reservations to my ex-wife, but she's insistent. She pleads with me to reconsider, saying she'll live in the basement and won't disrupt our lives. Now her friends and family have started pleading as well. Is there any good that can come from letting her come back? Or any silver lining? Has anyone come across any similar situation? Thanks for any and all help. Some relevant comments. HL no, she made her bed, let her lay in it. Buy a house close by. She already has an apartment close by that I was livid about. It did have some advantages when the kids have to be dropped, etc. But I hated when the two of them would stroll down the street on their walks. At least, now there is no longer two as they have broken up. Letting your ex move back in would be pure insanity. Plus, she just wants to mooch off you for 1 or 2 years. So your ex wants to move back in and be in a platonic relationship with you for 1 or 2 years or until her other relationship improves. That is nonsense. Not live with us until her other relationship improves. She has given up on all other romantic relationships as far as I know. Or at least that is what she claims. She wants to repair her relationship with our kids and thinks living in same home, trying to help them, cook for them, etc. will help in mending the fence. Update, TLDR, divorced 2 years ago after wife left me, 39 male for another woman. Maintained amicable relationship for kids' sake. Ex-wife, now 37, broke up with partner and wants to move back in with me and kids, 13 and 10 for 1 to 2 years. Claiming she wants to rebuild relationship with kids. I've moved on, started dating, and don't want her back. Seeking advice on how to handle situation. Prior editions. I am unlikely to let her move in unless my kids come plead for her, and that is not happening. As per X, she has given up all romantic pursuits, no way to confirm and nor do I care. And if she lives with us, she will live like a nun while I am free to date, etc. She is financially well off and so am I, and so money. Expenses are not an issue. Right now, she lives alone with lease in her name which needs just a month's notice if she wants to quit. She gave up full custody because kids in no uncertain terms told her they wanted to live with me. Also, she had moved in with AP and AP had a bit of history that my lawyer would not hesitate to use. I also wanted custody, had space, and she decided not to fight a losing battle. Update, this weekend, the kids spent time with their mom's parents and something unexpected happened. My sharp 13-year-old daughter found out about her mom's previous proposal to move back in with us. She was upset and raised a huge fuss, prompting her mom to come over and try to calm her down. Luckily, I was unaware of the situation, and it's probably for the best. In the end, my ex-wife decided to drop her plans to move back in. Instead, she's asked for more visitation time, which the kids are okay with, and I'm willing to make it work. Now, there's a new development. Since both sets of grandparents will be out of town for Christmas, my wife has suggested spending the holiday with the kids. However, my daughter also wants me to join them, which is a bit of a complicated situation. My ex-wife seems open to the idea, but I'm still weighing my options. Not sure what son feels, but he usually follows big sis. I'll keep you updated on what happens next. Relevant comments. I know you're trying to be considerate towards your children, but spending the holidays with your ex-wife sounds like quite the slippery slope. If you're dead set in not getting back with her at all, then I'd probably recommend just skipping out on spending the holidays with her, and instead alternating who gets to spend the holidays with the kids. Truth be told, it is a no-win for me. It will be miserable without the kids anyways, and I may just decide to join them and enjoy the kids being happy. I am all for it if it makes the kids happier. I understand the slippery slope, but at this point trying to make the best. I have not considered getting back. I assume that is the way it will be, and that is probably how this story will end. That said, there is no hate here in either direction. Just a lot of hurt and lost pride and trust, which will be very hard to overcome. It's very simple. If you have the balls for it, you tell her no effing way for any of it. Don't worry about the kids, they will be fine. Let's just say, I have in me to try and make it as comfortable as possible for all involved, including me. Cannot change what was done in the past and will leave the justice to someone or something bigger than me. Hopefully there will be redemption, but that again is not my cross. I have forgiven and am trying to forget. I do not consider myself weak, rather I consider myself stronger, but that is not how most will see it. I am on the way to recovery and wary of anything that will disrupt that. It will not be the same again, and we will never get back together as we once did. But that apart, I am rooting for her recovery and success, because the happier she is, the better for the kids. Thank you for your thoughts. Update. First of all, thanks to all that reached out and commented. It was going to be a quiet Christmas with myself and the kids. That is till X wanted to join us at my place. Had a long conversation with X, the first long one in several months. She is in therapy and once again acknowledged that this is all her doing and apologized. Some of you may not like it, but she is invited for Christmas and it will be a day affair. We will open gifts, have our meals, the kids have some movies and games planned, and she will leave after dinner. I have got the kids presents and she knows what they are, and I know what she is getting them as well. The exes are not exchanging gifts, not directly at least, but kids have ordered some for her and used my card. I suspect they have made her order some for me as well that she has paid for. For the most part, Whole Foods and Cracker Barrel are cooking for us. Meeting her will be uncomfortable, but it will not be unpleasant. In the end, if the kids go to bed happy, I will be happy. If folk are interested, I will update. Thanks again. Some comments. Keep the kids at the forefront and you will be fine. I have followed your posts and I feel for you, a no-win situation really. She has some real issues to resolve and I am glad the basement thing is off the table. It would never have worked honestly. As she progresses in therapy, things may change, but she is still their mom, so you still have to deal with her. Have you started to date or socialize at all? Thank you. I did start dating and did have quite a few good dates. But for some reason, nothing serious came of them, though I am still seeing a couple that need to take it very slow. One is waiting on a divorce while the other has some other work and life changes to deal with first. Let's just say I am in no rush. My needs are being met and right now, my kids come above everything else. It sounds like you are doing the right thing for your kids' sake. Please do not sleep with her or consider taking her back. Do not let her live with you, because these situations always create problems, and you will have to remove her, making you the bad guy and breaking up the family. A good co-parenting relationship with her will be beneficial for your kids, but you need to set boundaries. I recall but did not review your original story. If do not recall who has primary custody, but I am guessing it is you. Do not give up any of your rights or say anything before consulting with your divorce attorney. Your ex needs a lot of therapy and both you and the kids cannot be in the middle of it, because the kids will suffer. It will take your ex quite a few years to figure herself out. Listen to your attorney and be cautious with your ex. Thanks, and yes, I have custody. Story 2. I, 23 female, made a post a couple of days ago on here about a joke my fiance made at Thanksgiving that concerned me. That post was taken down and locked, so this is a repost. Update. I have been with my fiance, 26 male, for 3 years. We met while I was on holiday, and a few weeks later, he followed me on Instagram. The rest is history. We got engaged last year, and a month later, I found out I was pregnant. We now have a beautiful 6-month-old baby. We hosted Thanksgiving this year, and my fiancé was drinking quite heavily. After dinner, while my mom and I were talking about the wedding, which my parents are paying for, I overheard my fiancé tell my brother, who was just as drunk as him, that he needed to tie me down and get me pregnant before I realized what a DK head he was. They laughed it off, but it rubbed me the wrong way. Our baby wasn't planned. I wasn't ready for a child, and we were using CNDMS. After a few instances where the CNDM broke, I decided it would be safer to get on birth control. During my first month on BC, I got pregnant. We were told that could happen, but he said he would pull out to be safe. Yet, I still got pregnant. I was scared as F, but I personally didn't want to get an abortion. I 100% believe in the right to choose, I just didn't want one for myself. So, I decided to keep the baby. I work for my dad's company, and my fiancé works at a country club. Money wasn't the issue. I just wanted to do more with my life before starting a family. I spoke to my fiancé about what he said at Thanksgiving. At first, he claimed he didn't remember saying it, which was believable because of how drunk he was. Then he said it was just a joke and was meant as a compliment because I'm so amazing. In response, I joked, good, because we're getting a prenup. I wanted to see how he'd react. He was PSD. He asked, why the F would I sign a prenup? And said, we have a baby together, a house together. I'm not signing one. He added that we wouldn't need a prenup because we're never separating, and said that me even mentioning it was insulting and emasculating. I didn't feel physically threatened, but his reaction made me uncomfortable. He woke our baby up, so I told him to leave, which he did. The day after I kicked him out, he sent me a long, apologetic message saying it was out of character for him to get loud. Which it was, he's never acted like that before. I replied, saying I appreciated the apology but still needed a day or two to think everything through. The next day, he sent a bouquet to the apartment. On Sunday, he sent a booking confirmation for a massage he'd arranged for me at the club and offered to come over to watch our son and cook dinner. Tonight, he sent me a message saying I'm being an idiot, that I'm taking a meaningless joke to heart, and that he's wasting money on a hotel when he could be saving for the wedding. Now, I'm starting to notice things that went over my head before. I feel like some of his behavior might be suspicious, but breaking up my family over this doesn't feel right. Am I overthinking this? Or am I being an idiot? Some comments. If you have a house together, why is he sending flowers to the apartment? We closed on a house, but we're staying at my apartment until the lease is up. Please, please, please do not marry him. Call off this relationship. He wants you barefoot and pregnant. Run. The pill is super easy to tamper with. All your ex needs to do is microwave your birth control pills for a short time and your birth control pills are completely useless. I didn't know this. Wow. I never even considered him doing anything like that. I take them like clockwork, so it definitely wasn't that I missed a day or anything like that. I haven't seen it said yet, but you mentioned having 2 trust funds, one that you got when you were 18. Does he know this? Think about it. If you don't have a prenup, he'll have access to that trust fund. Don't be naive. And the CNDM. Come on. He totally baby trapped you. Wake up. Yeah, he knows about the trust fund. He was at my brother's 18th, where my dad said to him not to spend all his money at once, and he asked if all the siblings got one, which we did. Update. A lot of people were asking for context. When I said I wanted a prenup, at the time, I wasn't being serious. Maybe I was being an idiot trying to get a reaction, but based on the 3 years we've been together, I never imagined he'd react the way he did. Why did the joke bother me so much? About a year ago, he lost his job. He was never really clear about why. For the next 3 or 4 months, he didn't do much. He said he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do next, and that was the first time he brought up having kids, indicating that he was ready. We had a candid conversation on my part about how I wanted kids, just not anytime soon. I enjoy my job, had trips planned, and wanted to be married first. He agreed that we should wait 3 or 4 years. My dad's company got a contract at the club, which is how he got his job there. But during the time he was out of work, my friends would joke that he was a stay-at-home boyfriend and that I was the provider, implying he'd be a stay-at-home dad because I was paying the bills and rent by myself. At the time, it didn't bother me. I used to live there alone before we got together, so it wasn't a big deal. But I guess it was them that first made me question things. To be honest, I don't know how long the CNDMS were breaking. A lot of people have said they've never had that happen, and I can't recall it ever happening to me before either. I noticed the first time that it looked like it had split, and then I checked the next time, and that one was also broken. That's when I decided to get an IUD. He didn't want me to, but I stood my ground. We compromised, and I got on the pill instead. I know we should have continued using CNDMS, but he said he'd run out and insisted that since I was on the pill, We didn't need them. In hindsight, yes, I should have insisted we still use them, but I chose not to have that battle. I thought we'd be okay. He knew my opinion on abortion, that I wouldn't get one unless it was for a medical reason. If I got pregnant, I'd raise the baby. Money-wise, my family is successful. I work for my dad's company, and I have 2 trust funds, one of which I accessed at 18. Before I got pregnant, I was making plans to start my own house flipping business, but I decided to put that on hold. I still work from home with flexible hours, but he said that once we're married, he wants me to stop working so I can focus on raising our kids and that he'll support us. However, I've never liked that idea. Although I've never had to worry about money, my parents always taught us the importance of financial stability. My mom has always said to never be financially dependent on anyone. Plus, I'm not sure his current salary would cover all our expenses. The only reason I haven't told my dad is because they have a good relationship, and I don't want to blow everything up over what might be an overreaction on my part. Relevant comments. Don't you think there was a reason he didn't want you to get an IUD? He can't tamper with that, but he did with the latex. He sent me a few things where people IUDs went wrong, and yeah, I probably should have gone with my gut, but he convinced me the pill would be the best option. But I did speak to my mom because he's come back home. The real problem is him not supporting your career. He should be supporting your business and your job, not making you be a stay-at-home housewife. That's ridiculous. Yes, mothers with young children can still start businesses, but they have to be appropriately supported. Can you say he can give you that support? Probably not. He's been quite blunt in that he doesn't think I could do both effectively, and after our son was born he said he didn't want a large age gap between kids. Update: 23 female made a post last week about a joke my fiance, 26 male, made at Thanksgiving while drunk. For anyone who hasn't seen my earlier post, he joked that he got me pregnant to tie me down. I didn't know what to make of it, so I posted here to get outside opinions. Initially, I didn't want to talk to my friends or family about it because they're all quite close to him, and I didn't want to make a mountain out of a molehill or cause rifts in their relationships. Yesterday, we had a conversation about where things stood. However, he told me he couldn't go back to the hotel because they kicked him out for smoking in the room. He had quit smoking while I was pregnant but said I was stressing him out, which led him to start again. He insisted on staying at the apartment. While I was on the phone with one of my friends in the bedroom, he came in, took the phone from me, and told me to come and eat. While we were eating, he said he understood what I had said and agreed that things needed to change for us to move forward. But then, he proceeded to list all the things I needed to do to make things better. His tone during the entire conversation made me feel uneasy. I texted my dad, letting him know that I was uncomfortable when my fiancé wasn't looking. Later, when I went to check on the baby, I came back and saw him taking my keys out of my purse, but didn't say anything. He took my silence as agreement to everything he had said and went to bed, instead of sleeping on the couch as we had agreed, acting like everything was normal. I stayed in the living room, feeling unsettled. My dad, bless him, drove 6 hours to come and get us. He arrived at the apartment around 5 a.m. while my fiancé was still asleep, and we left. Now, my son and I are at my parents' house. My fiancé has been blowing up my phone since this morning. I sent him a text as we were driving off, explaining that he wasn't respecting my need for space and time to figure everything out. I told him he could stay at the apartment while I stayed at my parents' house. We haven't officially broken up or called off the wedding. My parents, who paid for the wedding, have told me they don't care if I want to call it off, but I feel bad. I just want to say thank you to everyone who replied to my original post and sent private messages. I didn't think people would care about me. Right now, I feel like every option I have is bad. The thought of being a single mom is scary. If my fiancé's behavior gets worse, that would be awful. If we cancel the wedding and cost my parents thousands of dollars, I'll feel guilty. And if we break up entirely, after just buying a house together, being on the mortgage, and having joint accounts, it's terrifying to think about being without him for good. We've been together since I was 19, and the idea of ending it all feels overwhelming. Some comments: this guy is bad news. Got you pregnant, laid down the law, and hid your car keys. Don't feel bad about your parents being out of money for what they have spent. From what you told us about his latest stunt and your friends' commentary about him, trust us, they are pleased as punch that he finally revealed himself to you in terms that you can't ignore. I'm guessing they have been biting their tongues, but despite their angst at your choice, chose to respect it and support it. They said that they didn't like how we was getting so serious too fast or how he moved into my apartment, but then I got pregnant, so they didn't want to seem unsupportive. CNDMS kept breaking. That so rarely happens that it happening more than once is super sus. He freaked out over you getting an IUD, a birth control method completely out of his control. BC he can break CNDMS and steal, replace, mess with your pills. But there's nothing he can do about an IUD. He refused to wear CNDMS your first month on the pill, even though you asked him to. Yes, you agreed to go ahead without, but on that score alone I'd leave. He couldn't hold out for 1 month. You got pregnant during that first month. When you confronted him about his joke and joked back, he lost his SHT and scared you. He disrespected your boundary. He couldn't smoke outside. That was the only hotel in the entire region. He has no friends whose couches he can sleep on. Just know, he took your phone away. Why did you let him? He made it your responsibility to fix the relationship. His tone scared you. He stole your keys. He disrespected another boundary, sleeping in the bed. OP, how many red flags do you need? Do not go back to him. That's why he got you pregnant in the first place, so you wouldn't leave him. Leave him. He took my phone to get me off the call. I didn't expect him to literally come and take it out my hand. He gave it back when I came out the room. He just did it to get my attention. As a separate comment, I left with none of my stuff, only essentials for my son. I will have to go back, but my dad said he and my brother will go today. Hey OP, if you feel guilty about your parents having paid for stuff, cancel what you can and have a good riddance party with your friends and family with what you can't cancel. My mom's been canceling things from this morning. The wedding's off. Your head is probably spinning from everything. So sorry you're going through this. What's happening to you is called betrayal trauma. It's easy for women to start to tune out our instincts, but this is a lesson on how real your instincts are. Thank God you realized before you married him. He let the mask slip off too much, but from an outsider's perspective it's clear this was just the start. It takes the average woman 7 times to leave an abusive relationship because we get sucked back in by promises and small sample data of changes. Be strong, get a therapist, lean on your community and heal. If you go back, he can start displaying more desperate behavior like what you saw with the keys, and it can get dangerous very fast. He saw you as his life raft and now his life has capsized. Heavy on the lean on my community, I had the first honest and open conversation with my mom for the first time in a long time, and I feel so different and so much better. My head was a mess and Reddit probably wasn't the best place to talk about it, but it's anonymous and it felt good to get it out. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.